Hello, everybody. Me? I'm doing great. I want to talk to you about anarchy. A lot of people are confused about what anarchy is. A lot of people think anarchy means no rules. And this is out of Stefan Molyneux's playbook from like 8 years ago. A lot of people think anarchy means no rules. But the definition is no rulers. Huge difference. Huge, huge difference. I made a video called Anarchists with a question mark or Chaoticists. See, people think that anarchy is chaos. However, what you're really looking at is a word that I might have invented called chaoticists. People that want to bring chaos, and people want to say that the Antifa type people are anarchists, but they can't be further from the truth, because those chaoticists want to bring chaos. Anarchy wants to bring peace. There's a huge difference, and in fact, the only ideology on this planet that brings peace, 100% peace, is anarchy. Whoa, imagine that. I want to dive into anarchy. I want to dive into all the aspects of anarchy. And I'm going to need coffee for this one. Woody Harrelson once said, and I'm going to butcher this, I'll just sum it up for you. Something along the lines of, he chooses to be an anarchist because he thinks that people are well off on their own. They can take care of themselves. I would agree with that, 100%. I think if you gave people responsibility to take care of themselves and their loved ones, they're going to step up to the plate. Right? I think with government involved, it babies everybody. It becomes a nanny state. Regardless of what you think, it becomes babied. Adults have less power. In fact, they have replaced their power with safety and security from the mafia called government. The reason I like anarchy the most is because it's a philosophy that instills peace. It loses the fact, it wants to denounce government, which is the most cruel and corrupted mafia on the planet, because it has a monopoly of force that they can implement at will. Think about it. You don't have any power unless the government deems it possible. You don't have a say. You can't even protect your family how you want to because of the implementations that government has established. So they implement you to do yes, this, that. You got to have a permit. You got to pay them this. You got to pay them that. In order for you, and chances are it's going to be illegal anyways, right? In order for you to protect you and your loved ones, in order for you to make more money. Now, I've already established this in the Trump video that taxes are going up. Despite what the fuck you think is going on in the media and what you hear on the media or from Donald Trump's mouth, taxes are going up. 50% of my paycheck, 55 to be precise, is going to be taken out starting in 2018. Seriously. 55% of my paycheck is going to the government. Is that peace? Now, I made a video called Taxation is Theft. Now, we can all agree theft is not peace, right? We're not living in a peaceful society if we all got to cough up money to the mafia at gunpoint. And if we don't pay, we go to prison. Is this peace? No. Nope. Not peace. We can't be prosperous if they steal our money. We can't be prosperous if they're telling us what to do. I posted something on Facebook. That was basically saying you own something under what we're technically in is a democracy, right? But we're going to go to communism. If you own 2 cows, under communism, what you do is you take care of the cows and the government steals the milk and the profit from it and deems it fit what they give you back. In socialism, you take care of the cows, but the government sells you back the product, right? In democracy, you take care of the cows, but it's your neighbor who tells you what you should or should not do with it, with the cows. In anarchy, you have your cows, and you fucking choose what the fuck you're doing with your cows. Come on. You have no say in shit if government's involved. You have no say. In democracy, you might have some say as long as you agree with your neighbors on what they say. Come on now. Wouldn't you like to have the product of your own labor? 100% product of your labor. Now, we can argue, if there's no taxes, what's going to happen with the roads? It's not going to ever be paved. It's going to be in a constant state of chaos. No one's going to be able to drive anywhere. Economy's going to collapse. Freight's not going down. Fuck off with that logic, because it is not logical. That's just saying that, hey, no one's ever going to pay for a road to be fixed in their community. It's just never going to happen. That's retarded, okay? If you're willing to pay for it now through force of stealing it from you, and you want it to be taken from you, and you agree with that, you're still going to pay it, right? And you get to choose how much you give. In anarchy. And not to a government, but to the actual contractor. And if that contractor's not living up to your standards, you go and purchase another contractor. And your community agrees, hey, that contractor took too long. That contractor didn't do a good job. So now you're holding the people building the roads to a higher standard. And you get to control what's going on. But with government, they sign it over to the roads, or to the contractor. They can take their sweet ass time. Because the contractor's automatically getting paid. No matter if they do a good job or not a good job. Because they're already paid. And they have a contract saying, hey, right now it's January 1st. My contract, we have to fix this area of the road, and we're under contract to do this, that, and the third. But our finishing date is January 1st, 2019. Now what happens? Come on. You hold accountability to your liking as an individual through anarchy, rather than being forced to pay for something and then get a worse job out of it. The free market will fix this. This is called anarcho-capitalism, which is just another fancy word, way of saying you're pro-capitalist and free market, and you don't want the government to intervene and destroy that in which is going to happen to your liking. So, with the power of people in the free market, wow, we'll have better roads, they'll happen faster, and everyone's getting paid more except for the person except for the government. This power from the mafia. See, the whole problem with the state is they don't give a fuck about you except for taking from you. This is why politicians want birth control. This is why politicians want abortions. Because instead of lining their pocket with all the tax money and all that shit, they have to give out resources for a child. This is why they are pro-abortion. abortion. This is why they want everyone on birth control, and they want everyone's sperm count to be lower and not unable to have children. This is why they want this, because they got to dish out those taxes for the first 18 years of a child's life. But they'd rather have it in their own pockets, because by the time that kid turns 18, chances are that politician's going to be out of office. Right? So there's a lot of corruption in a million different levels here, where you can't be prosperous in your life because it goes against the government's interest. Take government out? Wow, freedom. Now, there's a lot of people that say, well, I don't want somebody to do this. I don't want gay marriage. I don't want that. I don't want this. Who the fuck are you to tell somebody else what to do as long as they're not hurting no one? That's fucking evil. I don't agree with the way this person's worshiping their God. Fuck you then. Because that's a piece of shit. Anarchy, let them fucking do what they want. If they hurt you, you and your community come together. Wow, look at what this fucker did to me. Look at what this company or corporation's doing to our environment with fracking and shit. We don't want this in our community. Instead of the government saying yes because that fracking company gave them money. So now you can't stop it because the government said yes, and they have a legal obligation to keep them there because they gave money to the government. Now there's fracking in your community. Now your soil's being destroyed. Now your water's being contaminated. But if there was no government intervention, you and your community can shut that motherfucker down. That company or corporation that's destroying your environment. Right? That's why anarchy is great, because now we have groups and communities. And when you have things at a community level, you look out for the best interests of your community. It's very simple. But with a federal government or even a state-run government, it's not in your interest. It's the majority in a democracy. It's a majority who takes advantage of a minority every time. You get 51% of the vote, and you're taking advantage of the 49%. You're always the majority taking advantage of the minority. But in a community level, in an anarchist level, you're all equal. Wow. Look at that. See, this is very simple for me. I'm a philosopher, so I'm looking at the deep philosophy of anarchy, and I'm looking at the reason and evidence. If everyone's in peace, how can there be chaos? There can only be chaos if there's mafias and corruption and theft and putting you in a fucking box. Do you think there's going to be pedophiles? I was talking to somebody last night. I put something on Facebook, and I said, the article was something about those sex dolls for pedophiles, so they can stop the urge. And I said, hey, we need to stop this somehow. We have the state, and the state's going to protect them somehow or another, right? From us stopping this, right? Because in a real society or community, we castrate that motherfucker who's fucking children, right? In your community, you would, and that's what my buddy was saying. He was saying, yo, if this was anarchists, if we were living in anarchy, we would kill that pedophile. And I said, yes. Why? Because that's for the betterment of society. Am I pro-killing? No. But in anarchy, you can choose to do what you want. And if all of your community says, we need to stop this fucking person who's going around raping children, we're going to kill him. And that's going to be a more of an obligation for a pedophile never to have those urges. Right? Through anarchy, we can stop pedophilia. Well, not completely. Come on, I'm not delusional. But we're holding everybody really accountable instead of putting them in a fucking box where they're pretty much safe. And trust me, I know people in prison. I have family in prison. They don't attack the pedophiles like you guys are taught on TV. They let them go, pretty much. It might be treated a lot differently because men, we want to beat the fuck out of pedophiles, don't we? So we can teach, we can punish or attack those through anarchy that are doing wrong, rather than the government saying, nope, you can't shoot them. Because now, even if someone robs your house and you shoot them, there's a good chance you, as shooting them, might face 20 years in prison for protecting your family. Right? This is wrong on a million different levels. In a community, you can identify what's going on in your community. And that's why anarchy is so great. Because now, your small community that you choose is the law. Your small community. We're going to have property rights fully established. And your property is not owned by the bank under anarchy. Once you pay for that property, that's yours. Wow. Just like we're going back to the cows. Don't you want your property? Or do you want just the deed to your property stating that you're just a tenant of that property? Canada, it's Bank of America. Bank of Canada. In America, I don't know exactly if it's the Federal Reserve or what it is, that the major bank that owns all the property pretty much in America. I know there's Chinese banks that own a lot of American property as well. But I've never met somebody in America, I'm sure they're out there, that actually own their property. I wouldn't even know how that works. Even though I've looked this shit up before. I still don't know. I don't know how to own your own property as an American citizen. I think you need to lose your straw man in order to. Going a little off topic, sorry. So, if you're damaging something, your community steps in. If you're a pedophile, we'll see what the community has to say about it. And in my opinion, and my knowledge of the human psyche, I don't think there's going to be as much pedophilia, there's going to be as much murder, as much anything. In fact, I think we would be in the most hippiest, fantastic time when there's no rulers. Because you're forced to interact in peace, or else your community is going to hold you accountable. Will there be uprisings and gangs? Sure. But at least there's not one gang that has an overriding monopoly of force over everybody, and everyone has a fair chance. Does this mean there's going to be chaos because of this uprising? No. That means in that community, they're breeding shitty-ass fucking people that want to establish power over another human being. Right? In your community, you can establish a police force in anarchy. You can establish a police force that goes to your community's needs. You know, if you want to bring peace into your community, you can police the people through policemen, through your sheriff department. All right, there's a gang in our area, and our community is scared of this gang, so let's all throw money towards the police and have them fix the problem. And if they don't fix the problem, well, there's also community people. And chances are you're going to want guns for the good people if all the gangsters in your community have them. Right? Now, the problem with Mexico when it comes to these drug cartels is the problem is that government there make a lot of money off of those drugs as well. They make a lot of money and they basically protect one another. You take the government out of there and people will have a real motivation to stop the problems in their area. And who knows, there might be a lot of communities that want cocaine and marijuana in their areas. They want it. So, as an anarchist and as a freedom fighter and a free spirit, you can go wherever the fuck you want. There's drugs in your area, go somewhere else. You have feet. Sell your house, go to another house. You don't have a house, you have an apartment, well, then you can just rent somewhere else. It's very simple. But if you want the government to fix anything, first off, they haven't fixed anything, have they? Come on. Start putting comments down below. What has the government done that benefits everybody without any types of more of a con than pro? Come on. Tell me how they stopped Sandy Hook. Tell me how they stopped 9/11. Okay, the FBI helped stop some terrorist attack, right? Well, you know what's great about the Federal Bureau of Investigation? You can fund that on your free will. If they're doing a great job, fund it. And in the free market, there can be other alphabet games that you can, ABC, CIA, whatever the fuck it is, right? You can fund it in the free market if they're doing a better job than the FBI. And holds into your community's need. And another thing that people are scared of, how about the military? What about the military? Fund that shit. So there's another aspect of anarchy called voluntarism, where you voluntarily choose to put your money where you want. To have a sorry, there's a cop and I lost my focus. You can voluntarily choose what you want as long as you don't hurt anybody. So you have an interaction between someone. Somebody has a used car, they're selling it for $6,000. You want this used car, you check it over, you pay him $6,000, you get the vehicle, you get the title or whatever, just a document that you have this vehicle, you own it, which I'm okay for. You don't need government to have a title. You don't need government to prove that you own something. As long as you have proof, I'm totally cool with that. So you buy this, you have a voluntary interaction, and you go on your merry way. You don't need government involved. If you love somebody and you want to marry them, you can set up a contract if you want, but you don't have to. You can have a marriage without the contract if you really wanted to. So if you leave each other for whatever reason, there's not a huge negative impact that happens, right? And this will bring back value for men too, just in marriage. Anarchy in marriage will prevent a lot of divorces, because for a man, if you're working all the time, you have a nice house, you have enough money financially, this is incentive for a woman to stick around with you, right? So if you take away that power and you apply divorce where you lose half your shit and everything else, of course you can write up contracts before your marriage right now where this shit doesn't happen, but most people don't. And most people don't even know about it, I think. But in anarchy, you can write up that contract if you want, and if you don't, you don't. And this will be more incentive for a woman to stick around. This will be more incentive for a woman to do better in a relationship. And I know I'm bringing women, but it's very rare that men get a negative impact. A positive impact from divorce, other than leaving that woman, right? If they really didn't like her. So, voluntary interactions sounds wonderful. Can you think of something you would not like from that? Where you don't have to be stolen from in every interaction? Take out 55% of my paycheck, then everything I pay for is taxed as well. So 55% out of my paycheck, I only get 45%. So I only get $450 out of a $1,000 paycheck? Come on, guys. $450 out of a $1,000 paycheck? Plus, out of that $450, everything I spend money on is taxed? Come on, guys. What we have now is terrible. What we have now is getting worse and worse. And if we had voluntary interactions without a mafia to step in every interaction you ever make, wouldn't that be better? Can anyone say that wouldn't be as good? Well, what are we going to do about the handicap? Fund it. Voluntarism, baby. And when you take that mafia out that's holding us down from being prosperous, we can actually start being prosperous. Don't you want to be prosperous in your life? Don't you want, if if you have $1,000 paycheck to make $1,000 and bring home $1,000 and be able to spend it how you want. If you want to spend $100 a week on welfare, go for it. Go help those people that are on welfare. So think of it like this. What we have now is corruption. What we have now is chaos. What we have now, and I wouldn't say chaos, actually that was the wrong word. What we have now is violence, because theft is violence. What we have now is lawfully legal coercion through violence. That's what we have now. You guys accept that? I don't know what to tell you. We can stop the fracking in your community. We can stop all the things that you want to stop, because now you have power. You have your cows. You have the product of your labor. And all of your interactions are voluntary. We can dramatically reduce pedophilia, because people are going to be scared to get fucking shot now if they fuck with their child. You fuck with my child, I'm going to shoot you. Straight up. That's terms of killing you, in my eyes. But you can't do that in today's society. Right? So think about it. Is there anything wrong with anarchy? No. I can't think of one. And I've been pondering this, and I've been debating people. And if you want to debate me on YouTube, like on Saturday when I'm off next week, if you want to debate me on this, I'm down. Find something that is not. Find something. Find one flaw in anarchy. One flaw that you cannot fix in anarchy. Because the only way you're going to fix the society now is not even through minarchism. It's through anarchy. That's it. It's the cure. It's the most peaceful philosophy on earth. It is not chaos like you see from the Antifa fuckers, right? That are throwing fucking grenades and whatever the fuck they're doing, beat people with baseball bats. That's not anarchy. Want to know why? Because in your community, if people were going out and getting out of control like that, you put your fucking foot down as a people and stop this shit, right? So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. Love to hear you guys' comments. Let me know what you guys think. If you think this is just some hippie unicorns and rainbows idea, let me know. Because I'm pretty confident most people think it's like unicorns and fairy tales and shit to ever believe that anarchy is a positive influence, or a positivity in philosophy, or positivity in the environment, positivity in the world. I'm anti-government. I'm an anarchist. That's all for now. See you guys.